Divine greetings, everyone. Generations upon generations upon generations upon generations of wealth to you and yours. May you be in good health and spirits. May you be in the purple, in your magic, in your intuition, in your imagination, and in your royalty. For I give thanks, for this is the day that we have made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. Mm. Goddess, looking around at the world and seeing everything that we have made, oftentimes you say to the goddess, you say, you are the creator of this reality. And if we're starting an opening with that prophecy, when you look around at what we have made, what is advice that you could give us today? Especially when the goddess is waking up and she sees everything that she has made, whether she judges it as good or bad or indifferent, as oh my goodness, this is chaotic situation that I created. What advice
Well,
could you give her?
I always use the analogy of baking a cake. We like cake, it's sweet, it's good. And there have been times when I've made a cake and it wasn't so good. So there was an ingredients that I didn't put in it. And so when I taste the cake, I have to ask myself, okay, what was the ingredient that I didn't put in it or put enough of it in the cake?
Mm,
So because we as women on the planet, we birth and we nurture life on the planet. Uh, when we look at the world around us, every person born has to come through a woman. And it is through her nurturing and her love that we create worlds, we create communities. Our children are um, a product of their environment. And so when we look at the world and we look at the children and we have to take some type of ownership of what is reflected back to us and say, what could I do that would make a difference in this situation, in
mm,
this creation, you know?
mm.
So that's the importance of the goddess now is I always say it, we as women, we create worlds and we can collapse them based on our ability to love. You know?
Mm,
So I mean, there are some souls that are coming in that because of what they come to learn, are going to be on the negative side because they come to learn through that experience that they're having. But the dominant energy on the planet, our vision for the future will be one of community and one of love. And that is the journey that we're on now, is to say, okay, how do we transmute this energy? How do we, create a better world? And we can do that by changing ourselves, by
mm,
becoming an example, by uh, embodying compassion and empathy, understanding what others need. I asked a young lady, she was pregnant, and her mother had been having a difficult time with her, running away and being with the wrong people. She was her mother's trouble child, you know, and her mother was concerned that she was having a baby. Was she going to be a good mother? And so I did a photo session with her and I asked her, I said, do you like plants? And she said, yes. I said, if you had a plant and the plant started breaking out, say with this, you know, look like infection or rash, whatever you want to call it. I said, what would you do? And she said, well, I would first find out what caused it, and then I would see what it needed. And I said, okay, you're going to be a good mom. So we have to look at the reality that we live in and say that to ourselves, what caused it and what do we need to do to help it to be better.
Mm, I
But
love
we
it.
have to become better leaders, better teachers, better nurturers for that to happen.
Mm,
And be able to see the people around us in the image that God created them in and speak that into existence, into their spirit.
mm,
Most people, when they're successful in life, it's always somebody, whether it be an auntie, a godmother, somebody that saw the good in them and spoke it into them, even when they weren't being good. Is that this is not you. You're my beautiful son and you're a leader because God has told them who that child is. I think I mentioned before about the story that someone told me. I love this story that when we were uh, in the spirit realm, uh, the angels sent out a message to all the spirits that were in the spirit realm of who wanted to go down to earth and be Jesus' mother. And so they had to pass a test in order to qualify to be the mother of Jesus. And so what they did, it was a group of them, and they gave her a negative thought, no, a positive thought, I'm sorry. And they told her to hold that thought. And then what they did was they beamed negative energy at her. And the person or the soul that was able to hold the immaculate concept, hold that positive thought, was the one that was able to take on a vessel and become the mother of Jesus, because she had to prove that no matter what happened, that she could hold the immaculate concept for who God created him to be and speak it into existence. In other words, nurture that seed and
yes.
help it to become who God created him to be in this lifetime.
Speak, speak. I was gonna
Yeah.
ask this question a little later on, but since we're here, I wanna ask it now because it really does relate to what you're saying, right? And what you just stated, which um, how does the goddess love people who are living from an old timeline without abandoning herself? When you say like holding this energy of of love within us, just like the mother of Jesus, holding this
Mm-hmm.
energy of love within us, even though the relationships or the people that may be in her living space and area, like that negative energy being beamed at her,
Mm-hmm.
without abandoning the her goddesshood and being able to have healthy compassion.
Well, one of the things that has helped me is to live in the spirit. When I say live in the spirit, it's like I was angry for a long time, so I was pretty much a negative person. I was mad about my childhood. You know, I had monkey mind. In other words, I always thought the worst could happen. I never thought the positive. That was stressful and affected my nervous system to the point that, I was on nerve pills.
Mm,
When I when I started I decided I don't want to do this. I don't want to take this medication. And I remember a doctor, actual medical doctor, told me had I thought about meditation. Well, I thought that's some woo-woo stuff. I'm not messing with that, But I said, I'm willing to take the pills. Why not be willing to try the meditation? So I started praying and asking God to come into the room with me, to be with me. I want to feel your presence. I want to be with you. I want you to
Mm,
come into this space with me. And I
yeah.
would play some relaxing music and close my eyes and feel the room with the presence of the Holy Spirit. Just feel it, just float. I feel like I'm floating and nothing is on my mind. It's just peaceful and it's just love. Once I felt that, I didn't want to feel anything else. This is where I want to live. I want to live in this space where me and God are one. I like this. And what happened is that I became an observer of people and where they were because I was removed from the physical and I lived in the spirit in my within my spiritual self. And so my desire to live from that space helped me to be able to look at the world objectively
Mm,
and say that's where they're at. It's not who they are, it's just where they're at emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. I don't have to react to that. I can observe it. And then I say to myself, okay, what is needed? What is needed here? What is it, God? Because I'm in their presence, do you need me to say to them to help them in their journey? Because I believe there's a reason why sometimes people come in your life and you're in this peaceful place so they could see contrast in their own life. They have
mm,
contrast now. Everybody's not angry. Everybody's not into the dramas of life. Why are you peaceful? And that's what I used to get when I was working at the shelter. It's
mm,
because I was always, very peaceful. And so they called me the Princess of Peace. That's what my coworkers called me. And the young ladies would say to me, they would say, you must smoke weed or something because you always seem so laid back and peaceful. I said, that's because I meditate and
mm.
I carry God with me. I see you. I see the real you, you know? So
Yeah.
there's no judgment here. And when you know who you are, a person can't come in your life and change you when you know the truth of who you are. I'm
Mm.
clear about who I am and why I am because I went to my creator.
And that's
But when you
so,
don't,
oh, go ahead. Apologies.
yeah,
What were you gonna say?
it's a saying that goes, when you don't know who you are, something you could fall for anything.
Yes,
Yeah. So,
exactly.
so in the temples in Egypt, it says to know thyself. That's what the journey is about, to know thyself. And Shakespeare said, to thine own self be true. To thine own self, to thine own self be true.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's what the journey, and to be or not to be, that is the question.
Mm,
To be who God created you to be or to be who the world created you to be, that's the ultimate question. Who you gonna be? Whose reflection are you going to, you know, reflect to the world? It's
mm,
your choice.
mm-hmm.
It's your choice. Your
Yeah.
life is yours for the choosing. God gave us free will. So
Mm,
I choose peace. I choose love.
yes. Goddess, many women may intellectually understand that they are a goddess, right?
Mm.
But what actually activates a woman into living as the goddess? Is it purpose? Is it remembrance? Is it devotion? What is that catalyst that transforms the knowledge into embodiment? And I feel like that's what you were just getting into.
Obedience and total submission to God. The more we submit, the more we learn, the more revelation we have. This
Mm,
journey is a journey between you and God, period.
mm,
Period. It's between you and God.
mm.
We're sitting here for a reason. If you
Yeah.
look at nature, like I mentioned before, everything serves a purpose. There's nothing in creation that does not serve a purpose. It's a reason for your being. So, what is the reason for your being? And that's what you want to know. Because the thing is that you're not going to feel whole and complete. You're not going to be happy. You're always going to feel like something is missing. Even if you got $1 million and I've talked to women who have six-figure jobs and they're miserable because that is not their truth. That is not truly who they are. Talked to a woman, she was a lawyer. Her family was so proud of her, and she didn't want to disappoint them and say, I don't want to be a lawyer. I want to have an art gallery and I want to, have this art program and I want to do this. And I don't want to be a lawyer. I hate it. So
Mm,
she started drinking. She was an alcoholic
mm,
because she wasn't happy, but her parents were happy, and so she felt like she couldn't do what she really wanted to do in life. So she felt trapped
mm. Not,
because her soul wanted to express itself in a different way.
mm, mm. That just seems like where some have seemed to find themselves, right? But what you've been speaking about is today recognizing knowing who you are, right? And knowing that you have a purpose for being here. And so how does a goddess feel? What is her emotional landscape like when she experiences grief or anger or disappointment or fear? And how can the goddess move like or if she feels like what you just described this young lady felt, you know, she couldn't live a life that was her own. Um, how can we have a different relationship with those feelings and emotions so we don't go into, smoking weed and drinking and doing all of those things because we feel like the environment around us um,
Mm-hmm.
is just not cohesive to us being in the embodiment of the goddess.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like when you are in so much pain, in what you're doing, it's usually, what I mentioned was the dark night of the soul when the pain just gets so intense. Like I'm at my breaking point. I don't want to do this anymore. You
Mm,
know, that is where you surrender to God when you get on your knees and you have that sincere prayer and you say, God, help me, help me. And, like I said, when the student is ready to teacher appears because now you're ready to listen instead of listening
mm,
to your own limited thinking. Now it's like I'm open, I'm waiting. God, talk to me. Whenever I would go through something, people always thought I never had problems. Is what I would do is I would lay on the floor, face down on the floor. And I would lay there for hours and I would ask God, you know, this is what I'm going through. Show me the way. Show
mm,
me what I need to do.
mm,
And I would lay on that floor until my answers came.
mm,
And that could be all day. And I would get up the next day and do it. And then all of a sudden, God is talking to me, showing me how to see the situation in a whole different light. And when I get my answers, I get up and take my shower and I'm good. Because man, sometimes God will tell you to go talk to a certain person, to go somewhere. But in my case, that's what I did. I really didn't have anybody to talk to but God, and I would lay on the floor and petition God to answer.
Mm,
Because everything is perception. Your
mm.
perception becomes your reality, right? So I
Yeah.
need a different perception of this situation. I need to be enlightened because right now I'm in the dark.
So
So I
I'm
call
lay
on the
on
light.
this floor. I'm gonna lay on this floor until I can see this situation through the eyes of God, until
Yes.
I can hear your voice, and until I know the direction that you have for me in my life with this situation. Woo!
And that's what Jesus is doing. Jesus said, when you see me, you see the Father. Me and the Father are one. Well,
Mm,
me and the mother are one. Me and the mother. The feminine aspect of God, is leading me, you
mm,
know. So I call on the divine feminine aspect of God, the feminine. I believe that God is energy is masculine and feminine, and depending on what my needs are, then I'm calling on the mother. I need
mm,
nurture. I need answers, mother.
mm, mm. And
So
that
this journey is between you and God,
mm,
because in the end, that's who you're going to answer to.
yes.
And when you do what other people want you to do or be who other people want you to be, then they become your master. They become your God. You'll put them in the position of God. And we all have done it. I'm here to serve God, not man.
Yeah.
And there are moments when I'm scared. And my mantra is, I trust you, God. I
Mm,
trust you, God. And that calms my spirit because either God told me you're going to trust me or you're not. Which one? Choose. So if I'm afraid, I just say, I trust you. I trust you, God. I trust you. I love you, God. I trust you.
mm,
Because that's a part of the journey. We have those feelings. Even when you're angry, when I'm angry, my anger might rise up in me about a situation, but it's short lived because it's not the space that I want to act from. So I'll observe myself feeling the anger, and then I'll say, okay, God, show me this through your eyes. I don't want to suppress the anger because then it's in my emotional body. Then I'm holding it in my body, which is causing my body to be in a space of dis-ease, which can cause disease in the body
yes.
if that energy is not released. But you can transmute that energy into light, into information by giving it to God and say, God, I'm angry right now. And let me see this whole situation in another light.
Mm,
And then I could see it from a different perspective and
yes.
act on it. And that's the difference between reacting and responding to something. Reacting is reacting from raw emotions. This is what I feel. I'm going to cuss this person out. I'm going to hit them upside the head. Or you could say, you know what, I'm really pissed right now. And I could harm this person. I do want to hit him. Okay, God, this situation in a whole nother light. Because I'm not gonna like myself after I do this. And
Mm,
when you act from emotions, you affect the relationship, especially if it's somebody that you love, even a child, a significant mate, a mother. If you act from emotions, you create a wall between that person because then they can't trust you emotionally because you can harm them because they
mm,
love you. And when you love a person, they can cause you the most damage
mm,
with their tongue because you love them and you want them to see good in you. And they start cursing you out and saying awful things about you, it's very hurtful. You never really get over it because you don't trust them
mm,
because they know your weakness. They know what would hurt you. And most people, when they get mad, they use the things that the challenges that person's have. You
mm,
know, if that person thinks they're ugly or they're fat, they'll say, "You fat so and so." Ooh, that really hurt that person because
Ooh,
that's what we need to heal. You just, you know, activated a wound that they got. So yeah, you don't want to do that.
time to lay on
So
the
when you
floor.
time to lay on the floor. With kids, we go make them sit in a corner, right? Till you get your
Uh,
mind right, till you apologize, until you see the error of your ways.
yeah.
But you have to go to God, you know.
And so you had answered that question that I was going to ask you, which is how does the goddess remain faithful to her purpose when her relationships challenge her? How does she continue walking her path without becoming burdened by the expectations, the emotions, the challenges, the triggers that people bring to her? And so because we're getting close to our closing time, and I did want to make sure that I gave our viewers a few announcements. Ooh, I thank you for that, Goddess. I thank you because that reminder that being a goddess can't be the goddess without God.
Right.
Must have that relationship with God, with the Divine Mother, with our divine parents, with the creator of all. It doesn't matter what you name or how
Yeah.
you regard them, but you must have that spiritual backing, that spiritual relationship
Yeah.
to be a goddess
Mhm.
in her divine form.
Mhm.
And Um, before I ask the final question, I did want everyone to know we've been enjoying the comments and the feedback from each one who has liked, who is telling us, "Hey, I couldn't wait to I got home from work so I can watch the video." We very much appreciate hearing your feedback on, we've heard someone say these are the conversations that sometimes you don't have anyone else to talk to. And so we want you to
Mhm.
talk to us and engage with us. Please send us your questions if you have any questions or things that you would like us to talk about that are dear to you that you can't talk to anyone else about. We'd love to talk. We'd
Mhm.
love to speak about that during this time. And so you can email us at thegoddessawakening@gmail.com. It's THEGODIS and then awakening at gmail.com. Also, if you're feeling like this is adding value to my life and I want to give value back, we do not receive monetary donations, but we would like to continue the mission of getting the goddess this goddess information out there for the grand awakening of the goddess. And so we do welcome gratefully and graciously donations of paper, of ink, printers, um, and these type of materials that can be sent to us. So if that's something of interest and you would like to contribute that way and donate those particular items, please email us at thegoddessawakening@gmail.com. It'll be in the caption area. You email us and we'll send you the specifics on what type of paper and ink and where to send it. So we do honor you. We thank you. Please do like and subscribe. We would like to reach as many women as possible. If this
Mhm.
video meant something to you, that means it will mean something to someone else. So when you like it, you help us to be able to reach more people. And Goddess, we're at our last minute. And if you could close, you got 60 seconds. When the goddess knowing who she is, if she truly believed she was a goddess, had that relationship with God, and woke up tomorrow morning truly believing that, what would she do the first thing when she woke up tomorrow morning?
She would give thanks. She would give thanks and appreciation for all that she was given. She would claim peace and prosperity in her life, and she would just be in a state of gratitude, meditate and pray, and just be with God. And know that wherever she is throughout her day, every second, every moment, that God is within her. And
Mm.
she and God are
Rise, rise, goddess, rise.
right.
You are
Yeah.
loved, you are held.